Good afternoon. My name is Suhat Wong. I'm currently a first-year student studying industrial engineering. The topic that I would like to cover today is neuroeconomics, which link the study of IE and neuroscience together. So this presentation is mainly about making a connection between industrial engineering and neuroscience. Before we start, we must understand that industrial engineering is a very, very broad field of study. There are many tracks that one could choose to study, and within each track, there are also many available opportunities that one could take. At Georgia Tech, industrial engineering could be divided into 5 different tracks, which are general track, economic and financial systems, operation research, quality and statistics, and supply chain. The one that I am most interested in, which we'll be discussing today, is the economic and financial system. Neuroeconomics is the integration between the study of economy and neuroscience. In the neuroeconomics, the main focus is the way in which the decision-making process and how it would affect the mindset of the economy. Neuroeconomics has been extremely useful in gaining a better understanding in our perspectives related to the motivation and the model of choice. It also makes us gain a better understanding in interpreting the behavior in the social interaction. In the axiomatic method in decision theory, it points out that the correlation to use value and its price is not what people actually think it is. People might be quick to jump to the conclusion that higher use would mean higher price, but in reality, wild diamonds have no use for human, but yet it is so much more expensive than water, which is so much more expensive. Neuroeconomics also study the reward prediction error model, in which this model predicts the intuitive correlation between the concept of rewards and beliefs. The model simply believes that the dopamine convert experience into a scale reward and act accordingly to maximize reward. As I have mentioned before, neuroeconomics does emphasize on making the decision among the choice presented. When people are presented with a choice between the same 2 options, the individuals might choose different response according to the situation. Some of the models that are used to determine this decision-making process include stochastic choice models, in which it states that the person doesn't always choose the option with the highest use, but instead a person chooses a choice that is perceived to have the higher value compared to the other choice. Also, another interesting fact about human behavior that each one of us may not even realize is that our movement is controlled by the sense of optimization. One in which our brain evaluates the cost and the reward of every movement that we do, which I found to be extremely relevant to the IE study. The way in which the scientists conduct research, according to neuroeconomics, is that scientists often use game as a tool to study humans' behavior. The games theory links the individual decision-making to the outcomes of the groups with the defined mechanism, or in other words, the rules of the games. There's so many varieties of form of games, ranging from extensive form games, normal or strategic form games, mixed strategy, equilibrium, and games with incomplete information. Unfortunately, I would not be able to cover all of them in details today. But we can know that as a result of using games, one observation could be seen is that games usually create the feelings of competitiveness and camaraderie, in which it has a huge impact on social decision making. Emotion plays a key role in these models. One of the more common ideas that keep occurring within the study of human behavior, which is that human brain tend to evaluate outcomes and choices by the variety of relative comparisons. In fact, it is widely known that people often compare the outcomes they have chosen with the outcome they might have gotten. Another idea that's being explored is the decision-making process under uncertainty. Different types of uncertainty, as well as degrees of uncertainty, plays a major role in decision, as discussed in the prospect theory. Relating to that, it making risky decision, people have different amount of risk tolerance in which it would greatly weigh into the decision-making process. This proved to be hard for the scientists to fully understand the decision-making process because each individual status as well as traits all contribute to their preference. As I've mentioned earlier, emotions affect the decision as well as the perception of others. For example, empathy serves as a motivational as well as a social role. It also makes each person less selfish and influence an increase in behaviors regarding to others. In fact, it has been clearly shown that empathy definitely increases the amount of charitable work and makes each one of us realize the needs of others. Unlike chimpanzees or other animals, where they show no sign of companionship or little sign of companionship, human emotion plays a big factor in the decision-making process. Ultimately, there is also some skepticism on the study of neuroeconomics. It's a serious question in the ability for the scientists to be able to predict the human's mind and behavior. The skeptics point out that there are so many variables that are involved in humans' mind that it is extremely difficult to identify all of them. Well, in conclusion to this presentation, as you can see, there are many aspects of neuroeconomics that could be related back to industrial engineering. One that involve how our mind works, as well as the optimization aspect of industrial engineering.